Wave. That's first. Here we are at the Fandangle. Give you an idea of what it looks like. It's 7:30 and the music just started. The show is supposed to start at 8:30. We'll give you some of the ideas, some of the stuff. Yeah, when we left the deal says the temperature is about 103 degrees. I tend to believe it.
Well, thank you. I would hug you, but I've got gigantic flowers in my hands. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Again, beneath the stars of a summer night, we seek to invoke for you the look and feel of times long since past. Pioneer past. With its fiddle and bow to symbolize the music and merriment we mean to create in your hearts, we celebrate again the courage and toughness, horse sense and humor, innocence and earthiness. Other states were carved or born. Texas grew from hide and horn. Other states are long or wide. It flung it there, laid the head where valleys drain, stretched the rump across the plain. Other soil is full of stones. Texans plow up cattle bones. Herds are buried on the trail, underneath the powdered shale. Herds that stiffened like the snow. Texans watched the water stir, while they kept blowing herd. Stamped on Texan wall and roof, gleams the sharp and crescent hoof. High above the hum and stir, jingle bridle, rein and spur. Other states were made or born. Texas grew from hide and horn. But the hardy cactus, catclaw, and flowering yucca rose from the cracked ground, defiant against the harsh elements that would otherwise drain the life from the soil. In the spring, when the skies would choose to empty life-giving rain to the dry and thirsty land, wild flowers would blanket the prairie. Trees and willow trees rose from the earth to provide shelter for wildlife. Live oak, pecan, cottonwood, and elm tree, dove and silver quail constructed their homes above the ground in the trees, while the bold chaparral preferred the dusty ground and catclaw shrubs. Buffalo reigned superior to all animals and moved freely across the prairie, often in herds so large that one could not determine Comanche. These were a migratory people, moving with the herds of buffalo, stopping for scant periods of time in one place. They took no ownership of the land. They were one with the earth, knowing of what belongs to all of nature. Until one day, the pale-skinned man appeared. He looked upon the land as if it was his birthright of this land.
In 1852, Colonel Jesse Stem, Army officer and Indian agent, settled in a fertile area on the Clear Fork of the Brazos, 6 miles from the present site of Luders.
Stem immediately made relationships with the local tribes,
Kickapoo and Comanche.
as well as planting crops and moving his wife and 4 daughters to the area.
Stem disagreed with the deplorable conditions. Tired of living life and having to live in disgrace on the run, he confessed to his brother that he wanted to die.
Taking him out of the village, the warrior's brother disclosed that the murderous actions had disgraced the tribe.
Regardless of the pain it brought him, justice demanded a sacrifice.
Stepping behind him, he felled him with a tomahawk, and honor had now been restored to the Kickapoo tribe, and preparing an easier road for their children and those to come after them.
But all of the sacrifices transformed into distant memories as the covered wagon made its final destination in the land of the Clear Fork.
I like the sparkling way you look at me. I am to claim a part of this land, providing you lend a helping hand. The grass is just standing or sweeter than candy. Our prospects look grand in this land. Let's settle in this country and raise a family here.
Snowstorms blow.
Honey, we don't care. Settle in the blanket. Not too bloody hard. Not too much to go on, but honey, it's a start. Let's settle in this country and raise a family here.
This country makes me feel a little scared. It ain't like the place where I was reared. Though I ain't got a hankering to be wed, I'm willing to consider what you said. Rattlesnakes a crawling, babies a bawling. A gal must be touched in the. Let's settle in this country and raise a family here. Redskins prowling, coyotes howl.
Honey, we don't care. We'll
Build a picket cabin, we'll raise a longhorn cow. Me and you together, clean up and stop the snow. Let's settle in this country and raise a family here.
I've always made my way with my rifle. With pretty girls, I've been inclined to trifle. I know I ain't exactly upper crust, but I made a lot of Redskins bite the dust.
That I found since I laid my husband underground.
Been through it, we might as well do it, so we can stop looking around.
Let's settle in this country and raise a family here.
I'd be proud to have you for my bride.
I'd be pleased to walk by your side.
We'll have some boys to help with the chores.
We'll have some girls to help me out indoors.
The posts set on end in the ground, roofed with smaller poles placed close together, and a layer of soil on the top of that.
But the scarcity of wood in the area often lent itself to more creative ways of supplying shelter to the family.
If wood was in scarce supply, land was not.
Utilizing small knolls and rises in the landscape, homes would be dug straight out of the earth,
Providing relief from the heat and storms and camouflage against the marauding Indians.
building in the ground.
And the dugout hole is your prairie home in Texas. 'Cause wood is so scarce, they sell it by the pound.
Digging wide and digging deep.
You gotta have a place to sleep, and Mother Earth will keep you safe and sound.
When you're 6 feet underground,
It's just a dugout hole in the earth, but you soon come to know what it's worth, 'cause it keeps you safe and sound from the elements above.
off the ground.
Roping, branding, rounding for sale became a passion of George Reynolds. Better, I would say.
Hang him tonight. You call this justice? I claim my rights.
Save your breath, son. You're hanging tonight.
Well, Sam robbed the stagecoach and you set him free. Jack killed Luke in cold blood. Hang him instead of me.
A judge can be fair-minded if you rob, kill, or rape. If you steal a man's horse, there ain't no escape. That horse that you ride's gonna cost you your hide.
We're soothed by the melodious ponderings overflowing from a man's heart. The land provided small game and sparse water.
Sleeping in the open with the stars as your ceiling and the hard ground as your mattress.
And for the cowboy, he wouldn't have it any other way.
Now, fella, I won't say I hadn't taken a drink, but now just a little and not too much. I never drink more than just a touch. Well, this particular night, that touch had me feeling mighty lively, not at all inclined to go straight home. You know, looking back, it seems a funny thing for a man to do, but at the time, well, it seemed plumb natural. Well, I felt like music, so I decided to make some right out there in the night. And to make music come a little easier, well, I took myself a little nip. Now, just a little and not too much, never. He wasn't home at the moment. He was out on his evening prowl. Pretty soon, though, maybe he heard my music. He came back to see who was trespassing. I didn't even know he was around at first. Yes, I did hear his rattle for the sound of my guitar. I just sat there strumming away, and you know what? That old rattler took a shine to my tune. Well, I kind of charmed him. You know, the way snake charmers charm cobras in India. The whole General Ivell music must have pleased him, and darned if he didn't get playful. Whoa. First rattlesnake I ever knew with a sense of humor. Of course, I still didn't know what was going on, yet I got kind of nervous. Might have been the wind. I don't think so. Funny things happening out on the prairie. By day you wouldn't even notice them, but at night, even on a pretty moonlit night, well, they get you a little nervous. Well, so to steady myself, well, I took a little drink. Now, just a little and not too much. Well, it must be good for snakes. Now, just a little and not too much. I never drink more than just a touch.
They were easily overtaken, but not without creating casualties for the white man.
One man had an arrow through his arm.
But George Reynolds was shot in the stomach.
The arrow entered just below the navel, but didn't go through the body.
George's exterior is still a woman.
A woman who can appreciate the finer things of life.
No fancy dresses or hats or gloves out here.
But a simpler, easier way of life, dressed in frills and lace, was found within the pages of the most popular circular of the day.
Godey's Ladies Book.
The arrival of that precious publication was met with a flurry of excitement.
One magazine.
But I can't get up out of that canyon. There's a dad-burned brothers off on insane. She got 3 brothers all 6 feet tall, Zeke, Nathaniel, and Bart. And the way they shoot 'em in a ball keeps me and Sally apart. Well, if I get shot down in that canyon, I reckon I stand the pain, 'cause that's how much I love my Sally. That's how much I love my Sally Jane.
No time for standing still this morning. They say if there's a will, there's gotta be a way. And there's a lot of work to do together. My friends can turn the work to play. So say it won't be easy. We don't give a darn. We're gonna build ourselves
if you recall, before we said I do, no girl was as pretty or as tiny as you. When you walked, you had the cutest little bounce. Made me a promise that you'd never gain an ounce. Said one thing that you never could stand was a big fat woman and a skinny little man. But after we was married, I swept off my feet. I had no idea how much you could eat. All you want to do is sit around and graze. You gained 30 pounds in the last 3 days. If you don't stop eating, I do declare them pretty little curves will soon be square.
Oh, you can't change them ways, no matter how hard you try. You can't change them ways, you might as well give up and die. 'Cause once you tie the knot, them promises are all forgot. You can try for the rest of your days, but you can't change them ways.
Started to work.
The other, Shanghai Pierce, a well-known cattleman of South Texas, became so excited when he saw the deep cut that he yelled,
"Stop, Doctor, you're cutting that man to the hollow."
Well, at this point, George called a halt.
He raised himself to a sitting position and bent forward.
The steel arrowhead protruded through the incision and slipped out.
George had carried this uninvited guest for 16 years, 3 months and 15 days. Those boys was a bunch. So was the reputation of Griffin.
Regardless of the fine folks that populated the town, Griffin would be known as the roughest, wildest town on the prairie.
Drifters, gamblers, and the sordid unsavory made their way into and through Griffin.
To kill and skin up to 100 buffalo a day.
Turning their kill into profit at Conrad and Rath's store.
Others came because of the Indian.
Stationed at the fort on the hill, soldiers frequented the town to spend their government paychecks on the local flair.
Always waiting and available, the colorful ladies of Griffin were ready to lend a helping hand in disposing of the men's hard-earned pay.
For the traveler, that required a more civilized form of transportation. The Butterfield stagecoach was the vehicle of choice.
The Butterfield stagecoach line traversed the country until the Civil War, when the company halted travel.
The Overland Mail Company assumed the route in 1861, but it was still referred to as the Butterfield by its employees.
The stage line brought mail, newspapers, and dusty travelers to its stops along the southern route.
What possible business would that young couple have in Griffin?
Well, she can't be more than 17. I'll bet they're newlyweds.
I can't imagine they'd be setting up homesteading in a place like Griffin.
Well, it looks like they've attracted attention from the local flair. Well, that's a colorful welcome committee.
I think he's the one that's attracting attention.
I think she's changed her mind about staying.
It's too late.
The town of Fort Griffin, so rough and fancy-free. The wildest town on the prairie, a town that suits me to a T.
So come on, fellas, here we go. Our lives don't last too long. All our money will freely blow on wine and women and song. There's whiskey in the old saloon, tunes to make us gay. We'll drink and dry away too soon and dance the break of day.
Oh, the town of Fort Griffin, so rough and fancy-free. The wildest town on the prairie, a town that suits me to a T.
change. Everybody says with pride, we're becoming cityfied, and people in a city must have dignity. If you want a fine example, take a look at me. I'm a square-toed, straight-laced, hell-for-leather, genuine lady now. Everyone is well aware I got polish everywhere.
Yes, the past is always with us.